Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod Season 11, Episode 12. You're listening to Midwest's Most Dangerous Podcast, and we're coming live to you from the NECA IBEW Powerade, Indiana, Lake County studio. Just rolls off the tongue.
It sure does. Look at you. It does. That was perfect, actually.
Yeah?
Did a pretty good job. How do you say 12 in Spanish?
I'll say doce.
Doce.
You know
Episode
what,
doce.
This studio's kind of cold this morning, isn't it?
Yeah. Freaking new building, freezing ass cold in here.
The other
There's
day,
no
John
windows
complained it was
no
too
windows.
hot.
I know.
At least the
Hi, Joe.
other studio had heat.
Well, but it's a long story. Basically, you were saying turn the fan down, so I turned the heat off, and then you're like, it's cold.
It is cold
because we don't have the fan on.
Yeah.
You got to choose one or the other, Fez. Your choice. Sorry.
Nice cutout, by the way, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We were talking.
Yeah,
during
I got
the
a big,
intro song.
annoying, life-size
Cowboy Tom
with
behind
my
you?
face on it. right
last
over
year
my
was Disco
shoulder.
Tom.
Yep.
This year,
This is annoying, though.
Oh,
I
when
like
I-
Disco Tom better.
you look in shape in that.
That hand looks weird.
It's not actually me, Kevin. It's you. It's not. This is some other body with my face on it.
You
Like,
look good, man.
right before the show, Kevin goes, "You look really skinny there." I'm like, Kevin, it's not me. That's my face. That's it.
That was
that
probably you
Travolta?
someday, some point in your life.
No. What, Joe?
Is that Travolta's body?
Last year it was.
That's some like bull rider's body. He's
No,
a
but wasn't he in a
badass-looking
movie
dude.
like
He
that?
is badass. There's gonna be a lot of pictures
Is
taken
it?
with that.
Is that from a? I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully, women doing naughty things with it.
Jeez.
Is that against? Is
Tom
that against the
McMahon.
marital vows? Like
No.
if some
No.
woman just like, oh
like
my
you're
god,
cut out?
right? That's
Like
what
if
I'm
there's
saying.
lipstick all over it?
Oh yeah,
Wait,
Yeah.
against whose marital
That'd be
vows?
great.
The woman or
mine.
yours?
No, mine.
What can you do? Just a
That's what I'm
cutout?
saying. I'm an innocent victim here.
You're
Just
innocent
being
victim.
fondled by women all
Exactly.
night, right?
Totally agree with
Yeah,
you.
it's
Yeah.
gonna get wild for sure.
Let's do crazy stuff with Tom, like with Mayor Tom.
Like a
put
little photo. What's
Yeah.
the craziest thing you can do with Cowboy Tom?
Oh yeah, with like selfie shots with
I love
Mayor
it.
Tom's
Why don't you
cutout.
explain why we have a Cowboy
Oh,
cutout?
it's 219 Day on 219 on February 19th, which is technically Sunday, right?
Technically, it's
Monday. But we're celebrating on Saturday at the Hammond Civic Center, our annual 219 Day celebration. 219 is our area code for those of you that don't live in the 219. It so happens to fall on February 19th, so we have a big party.
Yeah, it's going to be great this weekend. Eileen's done a huge job, as usual, and her team. It's Western themed, the Wild Wild Midwest.
Yeah.
And there's a mechanical bull. There's all kinds
Which
of
is always, that's always a party.
always fun.
Yeah. We do like playground kind of stuff every year at our 219 Day. It seems like Mechanical Bull is always the most popular.
It's key. It'll be fun. It'll be fun tomorrow. So come out and ride the mechanical bull.
You gonna ride
Great
it, Joe?
food.
No.
I'm going to.
Really?
The Lord didn't
I
build me
always
to
do.
ride a mechanical bull.
Huh?
We should stream that part.
I said the Lord did not build me to ride a mechanical bull.
You have to have strong, like, clamping thighs.
I think you're right. You mentioned this the last time you did
strong clamping thighs. That's I have strong clamping thighs.
There's
so.
the title.
it. And don't forget
Thank
that
you,
is
John.
the title.
Yeah.
Or yeah. But at
keep
219
going,
Day,
Kevin. What were you gonna say?
219 Day
Yeah,
is
what was you
Saturday.
gonna
I
say?
don't remember. It was something about the cutout. 219 Day is Saturday, so come out to the Wild Wild Midwest. There's gonna be bluegrass music
For
and
the
a
locals.
country cover band.
For the locals.
Yeah, for the locals. If
It's
you're
gonna
around,
be. It's a good time. It's no entry to get in.
hashtag 219 Day on social media. It'll start moving this
The
weekend.
drinks will be flowing.
So they will.
We have good music. Mechanical Bull, cut out of me with really good
Hell
looking
yeah.
body.
Yes.
I mean, you can't
Amongst
get any
other
better.
things.
And
Oh.
it's 219 Day. I mean,
John, you're looking forward to the bluegrass, aren't you?
I'm looking forward to the laser tag duel.
Oh.
Oh wow, that's
A
country
duel with
western.
laser
Oh,
tag.
okay,
Yeah,
I got it.
exactly.
I got it.
Yep. Mhm.
And we have the pinata, as
Absolutely.
usual, right? So
That's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be a
fun.
good time.
So
Yeah,
come on out.
Come on out.
Finally
If you're in the
chat.
if you're in the region.
Is she nice?
She's
We usually
quick.
have a few hundred people show up every year for 219 Day. It's a
Great
it's a big
swag,
day.
by the way. Hoodies, T-shirts, stickers,
Nice.
whatever you want.
Nice.
All right.
That's good. That's good stuff.
I got my COVID booster yesterday.
Like your 10th.
They're still doing those?
I know, right?
Yes.
When's the last time you got a COVID booster, Joe?
I think maybe I got one last year because I was
Oh, did you?
traveling.
I got the second
Maybe.
dose.
But then you got COVID.
I got COVID multiple times.
Yeah.
since
I've
then.
never
I mean, I'm
gotten
just
it.
saying that helped with your immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't gotten the booster. I keep getting COVID. So
I got
I'm
the
like,
booster, so I've got a Walgreens sticker right here. My arm hurts a little bit. I did it because of when
219 Day?
Travis Kelce and
Aw.
Taylor Swift,
Oh,
when they endorsed Biden after the Super Bowl, and then the commercial came on. I wanted to make sure I followed
That's
the
nice.
conspiracy theory and made sure I got my booster. I almost got the. Would you do this?
Taylor
So-
Swift's the most popular person in America right now.
I'm
The
becoming a
world.
fan now.
Right?
I'm
The
becoming a
world.
fan.
Gotta be
Agreed.
the world.
How could you not like her? She's pretty and smart and sweet and a billionaire.
Until you switched my mind, and I give you credit for this, I was like kind of
that
like
it's
annoyed.
A bunch of dudes that are putting her on NFL.
Yes,
it's not her.
Totally.
She doesn't have a magical button that
I'm
inserts
not mad at her anymore.
I agree.
Because it's not her fault.
If she had a magical button that inserted her into the 49er game, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, stop pushing the button, Taylor.
Right.
But it's not Taylor. It's some dude that probably thinks she's hot.
Or that's trying to help marketing the NFL.
Or that's trying to piss off these men that are easily offended when they see Taylor Swift's picture.
I heard a because like there's this right wing conspiracy about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, and I was listening to the Daily Show. Jon Stewart's on Mondays again. I love Jon Stewart. He said right wingers are screwed this Super Bowl because if Kansas City wins, it's Taylor Swift and Kelce and the conspiracy, and if the Niners win, it's the bastion of gay.
Yeah, right.
San Francisco wins.
That's true.
So it was a hard Super Bowl when you politicize things like that.
Marissa and I just got back. We went to Valentine's Day.
Nice.
We went to our place in Boyne for a couple of days. It was nice.
How was the snow?
It was all right. It wasn't great. There was a little bit of snow yesterday, a little bit, a couple inches, but this has been the worst year I've owned that place in Boyne since 2018. The hands down worst winter. Wow. Hands down. Like not even a close second.
Too warm.
It's barely.
Well, look around here. Nothing on the ground.
When you get to Grand Rapids, there's no snow on the ground, and that's 2.5 hours into the trip. And then you get about an hour north of Grand Rapids. There was still not any snow on the ground. And then we got into the single lane stuff up towards Boyne, and you started to see a little bit of snow. And then when you get there, the mountains are the only thing that really
they're
has
making
snow.
it.
They're making it. Yeah.
So when you look out in the distance, like when you're at the top on
brown.
It really in the distance,
except for you can see the ski slopes.
Sure,
they're snowy.
They're making
everything
snow,
else,
and everything else is brown.
And then
that's crazy.
So we skied the first day on that. We went to Boyne Highlands. Boyne Highlands bigger, so I figured I won't get ADD there. So we went. I have to make accommodations for my disease. So so we did that, and that was nice. And that was on Valentine's Day actually. And then it snowed yesterday morning. We got like 3 inches of snow and skied a little bit.
That's cool, like real snow.
Yeah.
Can you feel the difference when you're snowing if it's real or if it's,
yeah. Yeah. Like it feels like a Slurpee sometimes. And especially if it's warm, but like powder is like really dry and flaky, and it looks like powdered sugar all over you when you're skiing in a good powder. And then yesterday it was like wet. It was just like not. It was great. I mean,
I'm glad you guys got to get away a little bit.
Yeah.
Go enjoy Valentine's Day.
Hey,
it's gonna be a good workout, man.
Oh yeah, it
Skiing
was decent.
You skied a lot.
2 days.
Like.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't. You know what though? It's funny, like because I go out west all the time now. So now I'm like, I like Boyne a lot. It's my place. I love Boyne, especially in the summer. But skiing there, it's a good place to get ready to go out west. That's the way I look
That's
at
fair,
it.
yeah.
Right.
And it's nice because it's here. It's in the Midwest. So you don't have to take a flight. You
I
can
drove
drive.
there. I drove back.
Yeah.
It's like that's not so bad.
Can't beat that.
Got to hang out with my wife. So
nice.
Yeah. Hey, there's a local case that we talked about, Jill, that's going to the United States Supreme Court, which is extremely unusual. Like less than 1% of all cases, way less than 1% of all cases make it to the U.S. Supreme Court. And a guy I know, Mayor James Snyder, the former mayor of Portage, his case is going all the way. Kevin.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Times ran a story this week, and that made you and I kind of want to dive into it a little more. Former Republican Mayor James Snyder from Portage was convicted once, then it went back up on appeal, it came back down, he got retried, convicted again. And it's really, I mean, I don't want to get too in the weeds on this, but it's a really interesting argument because if you read the Times article, they put it this way, basically, like there's this issue between whether a gratuity or a bribe is treated differently under the federal code. And
so hold it, like, because you say it's really interesting, and you say that like it's academic experience. Right?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it is.
I read this argument, I think it's fucking crazy. Like, what the hell are they talking about? Like you're talking like it's like, oh yeah, it's an interesting argument, blah blah blah. But it's like their argument is $13,000 can be given to a politician as a gratuity, and that should be legal. That's what their argument is. True?
Yeah. So right. So I think that's what's so interesting.
Is that interesting? That is not interesting to me. That's fucking stupid.
Like
it's
a server gets a tip at a restaurant,
right? So somebody, as a politician, I'm a mayor. So if the U.S. Supreme Court says gratuities are allowed, that means that somebody, because Jill, if I go to the wheel after this, if I eat by myself, I'll already tell you, if I'm by myself, they always pick up the meal. It's just nice. And then I usually leave $5 for the server. So that the server doesn't get screwed, right? That's a gratuity. You buy me eggs and a couple slices of bacon, right?
At the wheel.
We're at the wheel. Okay? Or if I go to Dunkin' Donuts, oftentimes they'll be like, there you go, Mayor. Free cup of coffee. Because you're the mayor, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you for the free cup of coffee. So now I'm really interested in this case because if Snyder wins his argument, I don't have to settle for eggs and bacon anymore. They could give me $13,000. Is that the...
Well, I think that is what.
Because I'd rather have $13,000.
Interesting about this.
And
you're right. Ultimately, it's a intellectual, circle jerk regarding this language, right? That's going to get decided by the Supreme Court. But outside of that, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Mayor. Which is the facts matter, right? The facts matter. And so,
do you think
let me just give you two scenarios, right? The first is what happened here, and so in this case. If you listen, the government, the Solicitor General's brief is really interesting in laying out the facts. They talked about the fact that the mayor had financial difficulties, right? We talked about that. He had a mortgage.
The IRS was chasing him. Before he was indicted, the IRS was chasing him for $100,000 back tax penalty. And this is stuff that we learned. He was creating new LLCs and transferring the assets from one to the other. So he kept making new LLCs, and he would take that $100,000 that he owed to IRS, and he would keep on moving it to
different
other
LLCs.
businesses.
And that's outside of
so they're constantly chasing.
Yeah, and so there's a whole different element to this case about that's outside of the public corruption.
That's still there too.
Yeah, absolutely, it's still there.
In fact, didn't he get convicted on that?
Yes. Right. So that's a totally different issue. So then we also have the fact that the government alleges, and they've proven obviously at trial, they said this, is that the public bid process was unfair. They steered it to one company.
Who did?
The Portage, the mayor and his. Well, he sat on the board that actually ultimately awarded the contract.
According to documents that I've read, he was actually intimately involved with the RFP specs.
Yep.
So that, which was allegedly, so that the Buha brothers and that company would win the bid.
Great Lakes Peterbilt.
By the way, Kevin, you're corporate counsel for the city, you deal with RFPs regularly. How often have I ever been involved in this process?
You don't.
Have I ever?
No, in fact, sometimes you've said, I didn't even know that was on the street. You need to tell me.
Right. You got to tell me when there's RFPs going up because people are calling me, right? But have I ever said, hey, Kevin, I want to talk to you about the specs about this RFP you're about to put out?
Nope. Smartly, you have not.
But there's no mayor that should ever be involved in that whatsoever.
In writing,
James was raising red flags like crazy being involved in an RFP like this.
And it was a $1.125 million government contracts to buy garbage trucks. Yeah. Right. And then less than 3 weeks after the second contract was awarded, GLPB, which is Great Lakes Peterbilt, issued a check for $13,000 to a defunct firm owned by the mayor.
Right.
And then the mayor offered various explanations for the payment, saying it was to lobby state legislator on his behalf. He said
it was supposed to be for healthcare consulting, right?
Exactly. Healthcare consulting, et cetera, et cetera. So
But by the way, if that were the case, right, that would be legal. Let's say Snyder was actually consulting with that company and saving them money and giving them ideas. But if you're doing this kind of stuff, allegedly there's going to be work product, right?
Yes.
There's emails that goes back and forth between Snyder and a company. There's a memo that's written by Snyder that says, hey, have you thought about this? There's multiple meetings where you have meetings and you discuss things and they'll see, oh, look at James was at that meeting with the Buha brothers and all their staff, right?
Right.
None of that existed.
Right. And so
all they had was a $13,000 check.
In fact, but the Buha, I think one of the Buha brothers testified in court and said that there was never a discussion about why to give him this check. They just gave it to him. And that's where it comes in with this gratuity that they're saying there was no quid pro quo. But that's where it all comes down to.
Right. But the feds were going to say, okay, we're going to give you your word, James. You say, Mayor Snyder, you say that you worked and consulted. That's where the $13,000 came from. Because if he could prove there was work there, there's no question that the $13,000 was earned.
Unless there's other facts that would undermine that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this is interesting, right? So there, as you just pointed out, sometimes you get eggs at the wheel, right?
Yeah.
So
regularly. If I go to the wheel by myself, if I take you, they won't give it to me.
So this is interesting, right? So then there's a couple of briefs that were filed, one by the American National Criminal Defense Lawyers that said this. But suddenly, this is a quote, every car sold, every insurance policy written, every will drafted, and every tooth pulled could be the hook for this type of liability if a prosecutor could characterize it as a gratuity for an official's past conduct. The corrosive effect of that result on the relationship between local officials and their constituents cannot be overstated. So it all has to do with whether or not they can allow a conviction on a gratuity without a quid pro quo.
Okay.
That's where it comes down to.
So
they
they
said
need
for
to
bribery,
prove, like quid pro quo is this for that, right?
this for that, right? Like, and so
like if I'm for quid pro quo for a government official, they have to prove, if I was giving a quid pro quo, that I made an official act as mayor in return for something. You give me something and then you get an official act as mayor. That's a quid pro quo. So like if somebody says, here, mayor, I'm going to give you $10,000 if you hire my brother. Quid pro quo, right?
Yeah.
$10,000 goes to the elected official.
Brother gets hired. You
Quid
get the
pro
check.
quo. That's corrupt.
Sure.
That's federal crime. You're going to prison.
And that's
for that.
corrupt influence, right? And so it all has to do with the interpretation of whether, and this is the language from the statute, intending to be influenced or rewarded. The defense says that means that there has to be a quid pro quo before the action takes place. So it's all about and they're arguing that if you don't have the quid pro quo before, you can't get convicted.
So what do you think the Supreme Court, I mean, first off, the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court is taking this case, there's no way they're taking it so that they can come out and say, yeah, politicians could get $13,000. There's no way they're going to say you could get that kind of money. There's no way, right?
So it's interesting because this is the thing. There's 7 circuits that have interpreted the statute. 5
federal circuits, right?
5 exactly. 5 federal circuits favor the interpretation of the government. 2 favor the interpretation of what Snyder is arguing. So one of the arguments by the Snyder team is, if you're a lawyer, if you're a mayor in this geographic area, you get convicted. If you're a mayor in this geographic area, you don't. The Supreme Court needs to decide what's right.
Which is usually how you get cases
Split
accepted.
circuits.
Right. But like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not shaking in my shoes, wondering whether or not my free coffee at the wheel is going to get me indicted federally. I'm not worried about that.
Nor should you, I think.
It's so minimal what you're talking about. It's literally, how much does it cost them for eggs that they're already preparing by the bulk? How much does it cost them for a couple extra slices of bacon, a few potatoes, and a glass of coffee? It costs them like 35 cents probably for that.
But I think the key there also is there's no like business of the wheel right now before you. That
Yeah,
you're like,
right.
hey man, I want my mayor. I need a parking lot.
Good job with those eggs. You now have a 10-year tax abatement with the wheel, right? Right.
I think that's important.
Can you imagine a world where mayors are all walking around with the iPads with the tip buttons on them? They just
Why
turn the
not?
screen
This is a good
towards you.
idea. Like everybody else is.
Would you like to leave a tip? 5,000, 10,000.
Well, and I think, John, that's the
13,000. Like
that's the real life. That's what
it's insane to me. I go about my life doing everything I can to not get in trouble, and like this is insane to me that they're literally with a straight face trying to say that. And I know James, and he may be listening. I know he listens to the show. Okay, and I wish him the best. Honestly, he's a family man. He's a nice person. Okay, but this is insane to me. This argument that $13,000 payment to him, where he could prove no work was performed, is a gratuity. That is absolute insanity in my mind.
And that's
that'll break the system.
And that's why I think the Supreme Court may say under these facts he should be convicted, but we need to interpret this statute this way. I could see that.
Right.
They let the conviction stand, but they do interpret. They end up doing a new interpretation.
But
of the statute.
In James's case, because he's got the tax issue that we mentioned earlier, even if he's completely exonerated on the $13,000, whether or not it was a gratuity or whether or not it was a bribe, even if he's completely exonerated, let's say the U.S. Supreme Court comes out and says gratuity, no problem. You could tip mayors $13,000. Okay, even if they come out, he still has problems.
It's gonna be a big day for Tom,
dude. Like I'm getting the iPad. John had a great idea.
Would you like to tip me?
Like Mayor's Night Out. I'll just like roll it out. Yeah. Oh, Mayor, you're doing a great job. Bam, there you go. Feel free to tip.
I don't think you'll get any at Mayor's
No,
Night.
Depends on which district, my friend.
They're asking for refunds.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah,
You
right.
should be tipping me, Mayor.
The iPad will not be rolling out.
You work for me.
Yeah, right.
Hey, John. I mean, so anyway, this is going to be interesting. The argument's going to happen in the Supreme Court. I can't wait to listen to it, and we'll see where it goes.
It's crazy. Like, I know James. It's so crazy that his name is going to be on a famous U.S. Supreme Court case. I mean, all U.S. Supreme Court cases are, not all of them are famous, but they're all important.
Yeah.
Like U.S. Supreme Court cases are taught in law school. How about that?
Yeah,
like James's
not all
case,
of them, but
James's case will be in law schools across the country, possibly as like in a criminal
law case.
Right.
Sure, if they go over that statute,
they'll be like Snyder versus United States says blah 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 blah. Right? That mayors could get $13,000 tips.
I mean, you don't.
We had no work product required. Like.
John, speaking of tips, we were talking about doing this thing on our podcast, right? About stars.
Yeah.
What is that?
Stars. So a lot of streamers, you can tip during the stream. So on Facebook, you can tip what they call stars. On TikTok, you can tip like roses or something.
You might get in trouble just from the podcast.
Oh, you know what? I wondered what those were.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
You remember the warm beer?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need tips. We need give us some tips here
We're
on
gonna
Lock
lose our
Pod. Give us
damn-
some stars, man.
We're going to lose our damn audience.
We're going to turn the
They're
stars
like,
on.
Do you want tips? Screw you. They all turn off.
We're like, why aren't we getting any stars today,
Yeah,
John?
we lost our entire audience as soon as we said the word tipped.
How about doing some ads before we come back and talk about Fani Willis?
Okay, so
Oh my God.
John can't wait.
this is great. John, you're going to love this segment.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is just a preview for the rest of the show. In the second segment, we're going to talk about Fani Willis. And this is the case in Fulton County. This is the case where Donald Trump's got criminal prosecution over, I just need 10,000 more votes or whatever that phone call
Perfect
was,
phone
right?
call.
But
Perfect.
we're going to answer this question for you, okay? Why is it a big deal if Fani Willis... Is it? Yeah, Fani Willis is having sex with the special prosecutor. Like, I don't understand why that was a big deal. I was just trying to, grasp that. You were, too, until we talked it out. We
Are
talked
you
it out.
serious? You're being serious?
I am being serious. I'm going to ask you a question there, big guy. I want you to tell me why that's a big deal.
Not yet.
No, not when we come
Hold on,
back.
John.
So think, okay? Because this is not, this is a deep question. Like,
Really?
who cares? Like, is she married? No, she's single. So who cares if she's screwing this guy, right?
We're going to get into that.
We're going to get into that.
All right, let's do some ads and come back.
And then, by the way, third
Oh,
segment.
yes.
We got to preview this
Give
so
the
we
carrot.
don't lose you. We're coming back and we're talking about that super mayor over in Illinois, the one that I predict will soon be facing FBI charges. But we're going to cover it now before she's charged with FBI crimes, with federal crimes. We want to get it on the record now so that when, she's in trial, we could follow the trial and we bring you along.
Remember when we started this?
Yes, because I'm convinced
Last
this lady,
year?
she
Oh my
thinks
God.
there's nobody that she answers to.
Kevin, can you be her legal counsel?
No.
Illinois, he's licensed.
I'm licensed there.
That'd be a cold day in hell.
I don't think that'd be. I don't think I would do that.
But what
I
a
know you
scoop.
wouldn't.
It'd be interesting. I
It
wouldn't be able
would
to
be
talk
great
about
for
a
the
lot of
show.
it. It would be
It really
great
would.
for the show.
If you offered your services, just
Yeah.
second chair.
Or maybe John and I second
John,
chair
didn't you? But John's not licensed there. You are.
Yeah, it's not hard though to get licensed in the federal
Well,
court
then
there.
why don't I just do it then?
You.
I'm a
This is
mayor
great.
and a lawyer. I could totally advise her. I'd be like,
You're America's mayor and
I'd be
the
like-
self-proclaimed
I'm like,
super mayor.
super mayor. That is a really dumb statement you just made, super mayor. And I'll whisper it to her, but I will come back to Lockpod right after and I'll tell you guys exactly what we talked about.
Well, you be careful. You don't want to violate attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
So
You
So-
can
All
just say allegedly.
Allegedly,
Spill
she
it, it's
said.
fine.
I could just talk about another situation, but we'll be talking about her.
That's right.
Okay, it'll just be perfect. So anyway, we're going to talk about Super Mayor in the third segment, and we got some videos that you're going to love. You're going to love it. So stick with us, okay? First off, thanks again for listening to, what is this? Season 11, Episode 12. You're coming live from the
What is this?
IBEW.
Where am I?
The Powering Indiana Lake County Studios. IBEW Local 697 and NECA proudly bring you Powering Indiana Lake County. With over a century of experience, they've been safely wiring the region. From powering corporations along the lakefront to lighting up homes across Lake County, Powering Indiana Lake County is your trusted source for electrical professionals. Join them as they continue to light the way for Northwest Indiana. Visit Powering Indiana Lake County at www.poweringindiana.org.
Kuklakis Law. Are you currently navigating complex legal challenges? Unsure of where to turn for guidance? Your search ends here with Kuklakis Law, your trusted partner for legal solutions in Indiana and Illinois. Whether you're seeking expert representation for real estate transactions, need assistance in forming your business, or have experienced a personal injury at work or in a car crash, Kuklakis Law is here for you. No matter the nature of your legal issue, our team is ready to help. Call us today at 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Hablamos Español.
yes, Rogers Roofing. Just interesting chat going on. Rogers Roofing, when you demand nothing but the best for your home and family, trust the industry leader, Rogers Roofing. For over 54 years, they've been transforming homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. Their commitment to quality shines through in their roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the most comprehensive warranties in the business. Visit their website at rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 to schedule your free consultation. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. At Rogers Roofing, we expect nothing less than excellence every time. Oh my God, that almost went in your coffee. That was great.
Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. With over a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltonsberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time and within budget. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Misprint, your partner for creating impactful visual solutions.
Calumet Brewing. It's time to experience Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV. The perfect way to start your 2024 and keep those resolutions in check. It doesn't matter if you're kicking back after a workout, hitting a pickup game at the park, or heading out to a day on the slopes. Be sure to enjoy a superior light beer that's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra is brewed to be a complement to your healthy lifestyle. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
So can I just say, I was checking out chat just like randomly. You've gotten no fewer than 3 invites to other podcasts.
No way.
Yes.
Wait,
and
just today?
Yeah, just on chat today.
Wow.
And
Just you?
somebody that said, and this is exciting.
I represent. Oh.
I got none, by the way. I
I
got
represent.
0.
I represent 81,000 people plus all of us in this here.
Plus us.
I represent us well.
Well,
You
we're
know,
part
I
of the
care about-
81,000.
I care about this show. You guys know about.
But
you
this
guys
is,
know that.
and so the other thing that came up on chat while I was not paying attention to Jill reading the ad was somebody said they have a behind the scenes source for us for Dolton.
Oh, let's go.
Boom.
Let's go. It won't
Yeah.
be behind the scenes if we. Oh, we
Well,
have to talk to him off the air.
Yeah.
We'll have to put him in pre-show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
Let's go.
No
we
one's
won't
snitching.
narc him
This
out,
is just
though.
information.
We won't narc him out though.
No, exactly.
Megan,
That's what they always say.
we might be in touch.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
let's think
I
about
like
that.
it.
It's exciting.
It's bad. We're off to a bad start though with the undercover, and then we're like, "Okay, Megan, we'll be calling you after the show." Like, dude,
Well,
like we got to like
her
stop
name's
that
on
bullshit.
chat.
I know, but like we're starting off on the wrong segment. We're like giving clues.
And
We're like,
Put
I'm
his
gonna,
phone number in the chat.
And
I'm gonna murder somebody tomorrow. Like you figure out who it will be, right? It's like
thank you, Megan.
the dead body turns up. Maybe McDermott has something to do with
Maybe we
this.
need
I
to
don't
talk
know.
to Megan about this. By the way, I also want one last thing. Thank you, Ren, Terry, for giving us 45 stars. Right like
What?
that. Boom.
What's
Shut
that?
up.
Yes,
Are you
right
serious?
there, right in chat.
Let's freaking go.
So wait,
45 stars.
Wow. All right.
What's that worth?
It's gonna
I think
12
it's
cents.
25 cents or something.
quarter.
That's
I mean,
like-
it's all about the thought.
Dude,
that
that's like
counts.
6 cents each.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so
making money.
So we're gonna teach you guys. No, I want to hear what John has to say because he was
Yes,
mocking me.
yes,
He was
yes,
mocking
yes,
me.
yes. He was.
I felt his mock.
I agree.
I thought you were kidding at first.
No,
honestly.
I'm not.
Before,
But you watch in my defense. I don't ever watch national news. You watch Fox News like when you
I
wake
don't.
up.
I never watch Fox News.
Okay, then why is it a big deal if a special prosecutor is having sex with the DA?
Are you wanting me to answer that question before I knew all of this stuff
Please,
from yesterday's
yes,
trial?
yes, before, yeah, because I didn't honestly, John. Kevin and I sat there for about 10 minutes yesterday talking this through, right, Kevin?
yeah, I mean, I had heard about this potential
But, like,
relationship.
why
but
is
they
it a
didn't
big
admit
story?
it. Right? Why is it a big
Because
story?
like when I first
Exactly.
heard this, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Fani Willis is having sex with the DA or with the special prosecutor. And I'm like, is she married? Like, is that why? Because if she's married, I get it, right? Nobody wants that story, right?
Right.
But she's single. I'm like, okay, so a single woman is having sex with another single person. Like,
We had to
okay,
think
people
through
have
it.
sex. If they didn't have sex, we'd all have trouble, right? Mm-hmm. So good for them.
Sure.
Why is that a big deal,
John?
My answer in this case
Mm-hmm.
would be, why give the Trump side something to talk about?
Bingo.
Okay,
That would be
but
my
like,
answer.
Okay, good.
Sometimes you got to get it in.
In other words, whoa, that could be
good title.
that is the title.
That supersedes. Okay, now, but like, let's talk this through, guys. But why is it a big deal? Like, why is it the focus right now? Why
Well,
is it
well,
like
now we know why.
Fani Willis is on the stand justifying, whether or not, explaining that she doesn't have this type of relationship? Why is that a big deal?
I
Like,
think
why
they admitted it. They
okay.
both admitted
they
it.
admitted they had some type of
I mean-
relationship, but it only started in 2022 or something
Right,
like that.
after
Which
the
is
indictment,
being
which
argued.
is there's another witness that said, sorry, John, that said that it was prior to that, but whatever. Right, that it may have been, may not have been, whatever. I think John's point number one is very good because what is going on is now the distraction. That case is now huge distraction, and it allows the Trump folks to say, "Oh, look over here," instead of what we're here about, which is Trump trying to steal the election in Georgia.
But they have also a solid legal argument to
Without
make.
a doubt.
This is what we were talking
imagine
about,
a conviction occurs. It doesn't matter because now everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, look at this collusion and people sleeping with each other." And it's
there you
all
go.
Even though
You're
it
on
has
the right
nothing to
track.
do with the case.
You're on the right track, John.
Yeah.
Because this is what Kevin and I surmised. And please, if we're, okay, check this out, Jill. This special. First off, why do you bring? Like I was asking Kevin, why doesn't Fani Willis do this case herself as the Fulton County DA?
That's a great question.
Why
Why do you
bring in a special prosecutor?
Yeah, so the reason to bring in a special prosecutor, and it happens around Indiana, it happens everywhere, is to get rid of like the local prosecutor's belief by the public that they may be influenced somehow or somewhat biased or something. So like I want to have
Bernie Carter,
sure,
our local prosecutor in the sheriff's case. He brought in a special prosecutor from Southern Indiana. I know to the consternation of the sheriff, right? Because he wanted it to appear like, oh, I know the sheriff, and I have a conflict of interest, so I'm going to bring in a special prosecutor to keep a layer
separate
between me,
myself,
right? That's the theory.
And by the way, when you hand it over to a special prosecutor, the special prosecutor then takes over the case.
Yeah, and they're independent. by the way.
So like in locally or just you don't have to say Lake County, it could be any county, right? If it's a small county, the prosecutor also knows the elected official that's getting charged. So he's like, well, I know this guy. We're in the same party. Probably better for me to step back, let a special prosecutor do it, make sure people don't think there's any influence.
That's the sheriff's case.
Sure.
But like in this case, so Fani Willis made a decision as the prosecutor in Fulton County to bring in a special prosecutor.
A guy who really doesn't have a lot of criminal experience.
There's that.
That's interesting. That was the first red flag when I read that. I'm like, who is this dude? He's got a lot of civil experience. Sure, he's no dummy. He's a smart guy.
You could do a criminal case. Though.
I could.
Right.
I feel like I have, right? I mean, I've done criminal trials.
But like if it was a big time criminal case,
I could do it. I feel like I could do it.
You've done it.
Yep.
Okay, so but still, like it was a red flag. Like he doesn't normally do criminal. And he's coming in to prosecute the former president of the United States.
Correct.
Right? That's a big
you would
deal.
think you'd be like, this guy was a former federal prosecutor. This guy did this. And
Yeah,
then, by the way,
right.
she's got Fulton County is Atlanta, right? So she's got a huge staff of very experienced prosecutors.
But she also made the decision to do a special prosecutor. So she wanted some type of image like this is an independent prosecution happening, outside of the power structure of the Fulton County DA's office, right?
And it also costs the taxpayers. You brought this up locally. The special prosecutors end up costing the taxpayers of that county because they get paid hourly separately.
So, John, are we starting to get to why it's important now? Because if you're going to bring in a special prosecutor, you're displaying to the world that this is an independent prosecutor. It's operating outside of the Fulton County DA. And now, if it's revealed that she's fucking this guy,
it's the opposite of
it's like a collusion with the special prosecutor.
So
and a personal benefit. Now it's coming out.
Well, that
absolutely.
Now,
John,
now you've hit it on.
benefits.
We need like a ding, ding, ding button or something.
This guy is going to write a book. He's going to go on the speaking circuit. He's going to be famous if he convicts a former president.
And if it happens to be the DA's boyfriend.
Like these two could be getting married for all we know.
Sure. And guess who gets the benefit of the book deal?
The wife.
Mr. Wade and his girlfriend
but
or wife.
Currently, right? He's billing.
They're
going on trips.
Yeah. That she's apparently paying him back for in cash, which was really weird.
From her campaign.
No. I haven't seen anything about that, John.
But John, if anybody ever thinks that Lockpod we're only like going to toe the Democratic Party line, this is a perfect example. This case, in my opinion, if it seems like this is true, it's going to blow the criminal case in Georgia out of the water. It's going to be Trump is going to walk on this. You watch.
So this is what I would say, right? And by the way, and I still feel strongly that this prosecution should have been brought, and I think there was a problem in Georgia. My concern now is that because of these antics from these folks, and it. That they are now going to take away what the focus should be, which is on what Trump did, and make it on themselves. They've got to step down.
Yeah.
They got to step down. And by the way,
she's the DA.
Yeah, they've got to. They've got to put other prosecutors on this case.
Right.
They just have to step away. Wade's got to go away.
Their little nest egg just went away.
Yeah.
They were about to make a lot of money.
He's made $650,000 already.
But still, he was going to be the lawyer that convicted Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You'd be the first lawyer that convicted Donald Trump.
A president. How about that?
Former president. That guy was set to be the most famous lawyer in America.
That's why it goes to what my good friend Pete Wilkins' dad, Bud Wilkins, used to tell us in high school before we were going out. Keep your pecker in your pants.
Really?
He was
the only guy that ever said that. Huh?
Well, to me. Yeah.
So hold it. As you'd be going out, he'd be like, keep your pecker in your pants.
He'd be like, boys, keep your pecker in your pants so you stay out of trouble.
I never once said that to my boys.
Specifically you, Kevin.
Not specifically to me. He didn't have to worry about me. There wasn't a girl in the
Kevin's
area that
pecker's
was
been in his pants his
interesting.
whole life. Still.
And I've lived by that for the last 40
Thank you,
years.
Bud Wilkins.
You know who says that now? Gianna. You come in the door, she's like, keep that pecker in your pants.
Every day.
Stay away from me.
Every
Think about
day.
it. Thank you, Bud Wilkins.
But so, like, I do want to make sure people...
by the way, keep your pecker in your pants. Solid
Another-
contention for
Agree.
this.
So, if Chris Jones is listening, he knows that because he was there with me. But anyway, I do want to mention this, and this is important. Even if the lawyer for one of the co-defendants who brought this motion, right, it's all about disqualification. It's not about the case gets thrown out.
Right.
So if this guy wins this motion, it just means that Fani Willis and Wade are off the case. That's what it means.
And it's going to be thrown out of the timeline. The
timeline's screwed.
Right. The timeline was
which is what Trump wants.
They need a conviction before Trump becomes president.
That's right.
Right? Now that timeline's fucked. Because he is going to take over as president if he wins,
Good
which
Lord.
I think he's the favorite. He takes over as president. You don't think he's the favorite?
I do. I'm just trying to
Do you think? Honestly.
speak out loud.
Jill, you're independent in here. Who do you think right now? If you had to say Trump versus Biden, who do you think's the favorite? Honestly.
This gets me so nervous.
Kevin's super nervous.
I am.
Awaiting your answer.
With my pecker in my pants.
People are so stupid. Jesus Christ.
That's not going to help ease it out.
No.
God, I mean, I can't even guess because they're both
Really?
not exciting.
I just don't know nationwide
Do you think that RFK Jr., he's going to be on the ballot?
he could screw Biden?
You can screw Trump.
Could he win?
Do you think, John?
Could he win?
Yeah. For
No.
sure.
Really?
He can't win because I would go back and say Ross Perot is probably the best third-party candidate in my lifetime.
Agree. He was
and
the
he got
best third-party
17%.
candidate. Okay.
I just don't see it because remember, we're talking about electoral college.
I know.
So
You're
you
right.
got to
You're
win
right.
states.
He
You're
can't
right.
win.
Yeah.
He can't win.
All right.
So interesting.
All right. So we're going to do some ads. And when we come back, we got some more stories about Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Yeah. Tiffany is
Super mayor,
super mayor of Illinois.
self-proclaimed.
Yeah. She's not America's mayor.
If you haven't seen her Valentine's Day ice skating rink, look it up online.
we will.
We're going to.
But we're going to bring you there because we're still in 2022 right now.
Oh.
We're catching up
This
to
is
a,
what's so great about this story.
This is like enough. We could keep doing this for the rest of season 11. This chick has given us so much material. Thank God for her. She's like Trump.
Yeah,
She's a godsend for Lockpot. Mayor.
it makes our
Super
pre-show
mayor.
so much easier.
I want her as a guest.
Are we doing a pop-up pod in Dalton?
We should.
Oh,
Dude, at the
wait till
trial.
we
I like
talk
the
to
way you
Megan.
think, Jill. I like the way you think.
Thank you.
I think we should reach out to Mayor.
I think
And-
we should
and-
reach out to the council people.
Oh,
That's where I want to go.
holy
That would be,
shit!
they would all
Kevin.
come on the pod.
They will.
I know.
Oh my God.
That's my idea. That's what I think we should
I
do.
like that idea, Kevin Smith. That's why you're the caboose, man. Right there. Perfect example.
I'm back. I'm back to the
compass.
caboose.
No, the compass. The compass. We got to start calling him the compass again. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and do some ads.
All right, come back and we'll talk about Super Mayor.
For decades,
And that's not Tom.
the Ron J. Pressemer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Their wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life, has helped over 1,000 individuals and businesses throughout the Chicagoland area. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. That's 219-844-0103, and they are here to protect what matters most to you.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for our iconic red and white label at your local grocery store. Indulge in the finest Mexican products crafted with local expertise and savor the taste of authenticity. Discover the flavors of Tortillas Nuevo Leon today.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
MCR Partners. Are you seeking expertise in economic development, finance, and planning? Look no further than MCR Partners, your go-to professionals for comprehensive solutions. Their dedicated team is ready to assess your opportunities and ensure the successful completion of your projects. Discover the difference MCR Partners can make in navigating the intricacies of economic development. Stay informed and connected by visiting their website at mcrpartnersllc.com. That's mcrpartnersllc.com. For more personalized assistance, reach out to Matt Reardon himself at 219-741-9999. 888-872-9511.
Byway Brewing, a family-friendly microbrewery, welcomes you to their spacious taproom and outdoor patio. Enjoy award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven menu, and craft draft cocktails. Their unique brewing equipment and production facility provides a perfect backdrop for private events, whether it's a bridal shower, a reunion, or corporate party. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Customer service is their top priority at Byway Brewing. Just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer. Thanks to our sponsors.
Including our studio sponsor, Nika, IBW, Power in Indiana, Lake County.
All right, here we are. Dolton Mayor,
Dun, 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 dun.
Tiffany Henyard. She was elected in 2021, and by 2022, the city of Dolton was already trying to impeach her.
Yeah.
Recall.
They voted for a recall.
1 year. She's also...
Within a year.
So she's Dolton Mayor, and then she was also elected the Thornton Township trustee, and you could hold 2 elected official jobs. Her salary is over $300,000 a year. Well,
Yeah,
around
it's like,
$300,000.
it's like $240 for the trustee position, which is insane. And
$240 for one position.
we said last episode, more than 49 out of 50 governor's salaries.
yes.
And then she makes $48,000 as the mayor of Dolton.
Yeah, man. This chick is unbelievable. So, here we go. Jill, have you heard about her before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You've been following?
I heard
Besides-
this a while ago, like it was popping up in my reels. And
Yes.
then- yeah.
I started noticing her about 6 months ago, and I was like, my first instinct was, this lady's going to get indicted. Like, it was like my first instinct is like, when you're a mayor, I guess if you're naive, you think that the only people you answer to are in my case, 9 members of the council and my residents. And if the 9 members of the council and the residents are happy, I could do whatever I want. You're sadly mistaken. You have bosses. They just don't talk to you. They're sitting
But
there.
they're around.
They're sitting there in federal buildings, reading newspapers, listening to podcasts, listening to radio shows, and taking notes. And they have the power of the federal government, which is immense. And this young lady doesn't realize that. She just doesn't. And she's going to find out, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in her case, I don't even think, like you said, she's not even really caring about her bosses on the council.
No.
She's like, F you.
She is literally like, F you.
She's got enough support apparently to get the votes through. It must be like 3-2 or something like that. But
Right.
there's a couple of people on that council that do not like her.
How about this, guys? I sometimes fight with the council. That's normal, right? It's just like a board of directors and a CEO of a corporation. You're going to have disagreements, right?
I think that's more of a good characterization.
Right.
It's more of a disagreement. You don't like
Yeah.
fighting.
No,
you know, like
no, we don't fight.
Yeah.
It's like disagreement.
disagreements over
For
policy.
sure.
And sure.
Sometimes I think we had a 6-3 vote, and I was pissed about it. We won 6-3,
that
right?
goes
And
to
I
show
was
you
pissed.
that
Right.
Tom's been very good with the council when he gets pissed at a 6-3 vote.
We won 6-3, and
Yeah.
I was like, "What the?" Like pissed off at people. So where was I going with this? I'm sorry.
You were just saying that you do have bosses. You know.
So like I've never gotten so mad at the Hammond City Council where I locked them out of City Hall.
could you imagine, John?
Locked her bosses out of freaking town hall or City Hall in Dalton.
Yeah.
Yes,
Village
that
Hall.
happened. September. There's a story from WGN News, September 2nd, 2021. Can we go ahead and check this out?
Absolutely.
This is just great.
Feud between the mayor of South Suburban Dolton and the village trustees tonight. Trustees say they're not allowed in Village Hall.
WGN's Patrick Elwood is in Dalton tonight with more on what's going on. Patrick?
Ray and Micah, good evening to you. The mayor locking the trustees out of Village Hall tonight, forcing them to have a meeting out in the parking lot, all of which has Dalton residents shaking their heads
Dave
in
Werpel.
disbelief.
That's called a
Running things.
tailgate.
We as citizens, as residents of Dalton, have been shut out of a building that we pay taxes on, along
point.
with the trustees being shut out of this building.
That is longtime Dalton Village resident Minister Deborah White talking about what happened today at Village Hall, or more like what was supposed to happen. Village Board is on one side and the mayor, Tiffany Henyard, I'm told, on the other.
This is the second time she did this.
Edward Steve is a trustee along with 5
Second
others.
time.
Called a meeting 2 days ago to appoint their own legislative attorney to try to advance their agenda.
You guys want me to keep going?
No.
Oh,
you get the
God.
idea.
That is hilarious.
Like it's the second. Didn't even get the news the first time.
Second time.
Like, oh, we got to report this.
I'd be
now.
pissed after the first
Yeah,
one. I
no
get locked
kidding.
out of the goddamn building I'm responsible for.
I just am picturing like Dave Werpel and Scott Rakos trying to run a meeting like in the parking lot of like City Hall.
We would do it in the sunken garden, wouldn't we? I mean,
Sure,
it's
why
way
not?
less
Perfect
dangerous.
place.
I know, and it would cut down on the wind.
God.
Freaking
Think
real.
about
By the
that.
way, so the mayor ended up responding to this, and she said it was about COVID.
Come on. Come on.
It's
Is that in that article?
It's late.
Oh,
We don't need it, but
God.
like, so that. By the way, that was September 2021. So it's a year and a half after the COVID emergency. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
All right. So I think we did a story in mid 2022 in this one where all the over the top shit we've been talking about sort of comes to a head in June of 2022 when there is a recall election. Now, recall is a tool we don't have that in Indiana, but some states have a tool where you really don't like your mayor, governor, state senator, whatever it is. You have the ability in midterm to fire them.
Right. Gavin Newsom faced one.
Right.
We talked about it here on the podcast. The governor from what was his name? John, you remember the Republican governor from Wisconsin? Scott. Anyway,
No.
he faced one.
But sometimes they work.
Yeah.
And you get fired. And oftentimes they fail and then it stays. Mm-hmm. It's not very often you see mayors
Facing
getting targeted,
recall.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
and the question is, does Illinois even allow this? But they tried it.
super mayor faced one. So let's go ahead and click on that one. June 2022.
6% of voters want their mayor removed. Suburban Dolton say 56% of voters want their mayor removed from office in a controversial recall vote.
But the mayor says the recall bid was badly flawed, and now she's suing to throw out the referendum. WGN's Julian Cruz is at Dolton Village Hall with the fallout.
Good evening. You may remember back in the spring, Mayor Tiffany Henyard filing a lawsuit arguing that the recall referendum was unconstitutional. A Cook County judge then ordering the county clerk to disregard the results of yesterday's recall referendum. And then at the 11th hour, an appellate court reversing that decision until this entire matter can be decided in court later this summer.
I don't find anything in the Constitution or in the statutes that prohibits us from doing this.
Attorney Bert Odelson representing the 5 trustees of the village
Maybe
of
get him
Dolton
on.
who voted back in December
Bert Odelson.
to put the mayoral recall
idea.
questions on yesterday's June 28th primary ballot.
The first proposition carried by 432 votes.
Hey, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we get the idea, right?
Yeah. Plus, you look at all the nice like Notre Dame stuff and St. Mary's College stuff he's got in the background.
Yeah,
You got to
man.
get Bert Olson on,
Good
man.
name.
Steve, let's get that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still the mayor.
Yeah, he ultimately
I
the Illinois
she's
Supreme
currently
Court
right now, right.
agreed that they couldn't do the recall.
So they had a recall election.
She lost.
Mm-hmm. She filed a lawsuit and ruled it unconstitutional and won the lawsuit.
Correct.
So she knows that she's the mayor of a city where they hate her.
56%. That's almost it's almost like 60-40.
She's not getting free coffee at the wheel.
No.
Not
Well,
getting
maybe
free
at the
eggs.
wheel, but
She's
not at
getting
the
free
local
eggs.
wheel. And
She's not getting free eggs. She's not getting stuff like that. Like, honestly, like one of the reasons I'm still on the job after this long is because I feel like I'm wanted and my residents are nice to me. And it's a lovely feeling. It really is.
I mean, well, it
It's
makes
like
you
when
feel
people
okay.
they're like, thank you for being our mayor. Thank you for, and it's like, this makes it easier to come to work every day, right? So like, if you know your residents freaking hate you, can you imagine how miserable that
She
would make
doesn't
you?
care.
Yeah, probably not.
I think
She
you're
doesn't
right.
fucking care.
She's in it for
She
4
doesn't
years, and I'm
fucking
out.
care, right?
100%.
She's making $300,000 a year. She's like, cha-ching.
Make that bag, girl.
Wow.
Like the only explanation here, I think, Kevin, you hit it on the head. Like every now and then these figures come around. Santos, right?
Yeah. Good
In
point.
the face of everything that's right and decent, they're like, fuck it. Let's go. It's wild.
Trump. But this is, I think you're right, John. Like Santos, who like crash and burn, right? Just I'm going to go out
Crash?
flaming.
Absolutely.
She's like, I'm going out the same way. I shouldn't have said
100%.
flaming with Santos.
Yeah.
But okay, she's going to have something in common with Santos very soon.
Yeah.
Santos is also facing felony and charges from the federal government. He's been indicted. He's in the process of going through litigation. She's not there yet.
No.
She will be though. Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Speaking
I mean,
of
everything
Santos.
points that way, right?
How could the feds ignore this bullshit?
I don't think
They're
they
not.
can.
They're not.
No.
She locked her boss out in the parking lot, and you're a politician. Like, you can't do that shit.
The crazy thing is that I know we
You
haven't
can't do that shit. That should be rule
love it.
number one.
This
You
is
cannot
awesome.
lock the council out of the city hall.
We haven't even talked about the good stuff that's coming about her. That's what I mean. We're just
Yeah.
this is tip of the iceberg.
We
stuff.
we couldn't just like hit you with the whole story. We're not
just
even
gets
close to
better.
the bad shit. Yeah, we're not even close to the bad shit. This chick is unbelievable. She is super mayor for sure.
Yeah.
If she doesn't go to prison, she should write a damn book. Right? She should write a book and tell everybody how the hell she avoided prison because this chick is out of freaking control.
So what else do we have? We got one more?
Yeah, we do. It's one more. It's a good one too, man. I saved the best for last. So let's go ahead. This is claims of political targeting.
And by the way, before we hit play, WGN is just having a field day with this. They seem to be like they are running.
It's not just Lockpod paying attention to this, right? WGN News. I think Fox 32 is all over it too.
They
Multiple
are
stories.
Both.
So yeah.
All right. Here we go.
In turmoil, a South Suburban mayor accused of using police to target her political opponents.
Investigative reporter Ben Bradley has the story.
For decades, the Shaw brothers ran politics in and around South Suburban Dolton. Their antics were legendary, but now there's a new leader in town. She calls herself the people's super mayor, but that's not how some of the people would characterize her leadership.
Ooh, good tagline. Police are here.
The night of June 10th, police arrived at this truck yard in Dolton, owned by Lawrence Gardner.
How are you? I don't know. I was doing good till you got here.
The reason police responded depends on who you ask. In this report, officers said it was for an ordinance violation for hosting a group of bikers at his business without a license. But Gardner has a different take.
Okay. It's what it is. Well, so here we go.
He says he's been repeatedly harassed for not supporting Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
We taking care of all the business, right? All the business.
You can't stop me from closing my gate.
Last time I'm gonna say it, sir.
Okay.
Please stop.
I'm not.
Arrested for an ordinance violation.
The standoff that night ended with Gardner in handcuffs.
I'm tired of them. They've been harassing me for months and months and months.
Have a seat, folks, sir.
And charged with misdemeanor obstructing an officer.
This is a federal
With the gate.
violation of the civil rights.
It's all on body cam, no big deal.
The charge eventually dropped. Case closed.
He was
Right?
arrested though.
Not quite. Gardner claims the harassment continues.
I'm suffering. They destroyed my trucking company. They shut my store down.
And he's not alone. Others in town are sharing similar stories of alleged retaliation for not supporting this suburban mayor.
It's a regular occurrence. She uses the police force to intimidate residents.
The Dolton Park District's director said in her case, the mayor objected to a car show on park property and shut down the event.
It felt like an abuse of power. She used her entire police force to come in and prevent something from happening because things didn't go her way, really.
Some businesses, even village employees, are now suing Dolton.
I filed the lawsuit because I am a victim of retaliation.
Eris Montgomery is Dolton's deputy village clerk. In her complaint, filed last May in federal court, she claims the board increased her pay to $60,000, but the mayor ordered not to implement the raise because the clerk didn't support Henyard politically.
People are walking on eggshells, so to speak. They're afraid to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Lawyer Kevin, tell me, like, what goes through your mind when you see this?
What goes through my mind is that the actions of the mayor may result in the village, which is already $5 million in the red, facing multiple lawsuits.
Section 1983 civil right violations.
And those
right?
aren't, and those can be expensive. You got to hire lawyers.
They're called fee shifting cases.
They are.
So in a case like that, this young lady that they're talking to who got her pay slashed is filing a 1983 civil rights case against the city of Dolton, in this case, the village of Dolton. And if she wins $1 in recovery, which she will, the city of Dolton has to pay all of her attorney fees.
Yeah, which
plus
is usually
their
in the
attorney
hundreds of
fees,
thousands of dollars. Right.
Plus
their own attorney fees that they use to defend the case.
Plus whatever the judgment is.
Sure.
These cases are a nightmare. I've had a couple in my time over 20 years as mayor. They suck. I hate 1983 cases. I do everything I can as a mayor to avoid them because if they're filed, they're no fun, right? She has the last 3 stories that they talked about, 3 1983 cases off the top of my head. This chick has no idea what 1983 cases are, and she's exposing Dolton to multiple civil rights violation federal lawsuits.
Well, like John said, she doesn't care. It's going for 4 years, and I'm out.
Yeah, she is an incredible woman. She is. I don't know how else to say it.
When's her term up?
When the FBI says so. She's not gonna make it. I think it's 2025. She was elected in 2021.
Yeah.
But like, so this poor city, like not wealthy, okay, poor city that's already in the hole, that's got a high poverty rate and tons of challenges on the south side of Chicago, which is a dangerous place to do business, that has a mayor that has no regard for saving money or not exposing their city to huge liability with litigation. Right, Kev?
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know if they've filed suits or not. It'd be interesting to see if they have. But if they have, then yes, you risk significant exposure.
Would you be comfortable as corporate counsel over there?
I guess my answer would be I would not currently, because I don't think the mayor is necessarily listening to maybe what her lawyer is telling her to do. That'd be my concern.
At some point, as the police, do you say we're just not? Can you do that? We're just not gonna go.
Let's be honest, John.
Yeah.
Who appoints the police chief in Dolton?
Right.
The mayor.
Her. Yeah.
Who runs the police department in Dolton? The police chief. The police chief sets the tone, and like they hire and fire and move people from within the police department. So if coming from the top is total support of the mayor, even though you personally, a sergeant in the Dolton Police Department, feel like this is not appropriate, what's going on, you're a sergeant in the police department.
That's right.
You're not the chief. You're not,
You're
you
a
know
soldier.
what I'm saying, John?
You're a soldier.
Yeah.
Well, didn't she bring back a chief who had been
Yes.
let go?
Yep.
All right.
But I thought he quit. But I got to look into that. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty
not
sure he did, but we're going to get to that because that's
Yeah.
2023 stuff.
Dude,
Preview.
Yeah, it's a preview of like the future Lockpod episodes. This chick is giving us a whole lifeline of stories. So.
Yep. So
I'm just still thinking about the trustee in the parking lot who said, "That's the second time. She's done this."
I was pissed the first time. I'm really pissed.
now I'm really. I mean, the first time
it was July.
We managed. It was good weather, but this time, man, it sucked.
Winter's coming. She's got to stop this shit now. I am not getting locked out of City Hall again. I'm on the record.
This is not going to happen a third time.
This might be one of the best segments we've had.
Thank you, Mayor Tiffany.
Yes, thank you, Super Mayor.
I'm gonna. Steve, I love giving Steve like
assignments over the air.
Every show ends. He's got like 4 to do.
He's like, mother.
Steve, we want to send flowers to Mayor Tiffany from Lockpod.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Man, dude,
Right?
I don't.
Yes.
I think I want to get a hold of this Brett Olson attorney,
Yes.
and I want to get a hold of the trustees. That's where I'm going to talk to first. Before we send flowers.
We should send flowers.
Before we do that.
It would be so nice. She'd be
Let's
like,
not do
what the
that
hell is a
yet.
Lockpod?
Let's hold off on that.
Right.
All right.
I wish her well.
Yes.
I do. I mean,
I want her as a guest, man.
Yeah.
We would be professional. I will hold my.
Right. We're gonna get guests.
I want to get
that are
guests from
involved in
Dolton.
this,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
agree.
We should work
We're
on
on it.
getting the sheriff. I think
That's on you.
I know.
That's
like
not
we
Steve.
gave him like
That's you.
the quiet period.
Yeah.
The quiet period's up, Sheriff.
Well, I would even say if he wants to come on with Strachey, have
Yeah.
Paul come on with him.
I
We can
would
talk
love-
about the case. We can talk about why he thinks it got pled.
You're
I've
the
got two
fucking
good
man
ideas today.
dude. You're the fucking man today.
Wow.
Kevin.
Must be my
What was your
219
first?
day
What was your first good
hoodie.
idea? I forgot it already.
I did too.
That was a damn good idea. Strachey and Oscar.
Yeah.
How could Strachey be
And
concerned?
he can say, like,
He can
Mayor,
give him that
Mayor,
look.
we're not going to answer that
Because
question.
Oscar's on informal probation, technically.
Mhm.
So, like, I think he's fearful that if he says
doesn't
some
wanna
stupid
violate.
shit on Lockpod, and then he has to go to Newton County, and they're like,
We're revoking
we
your
were listening to Lockpod, and we
You know
decided
what?
to
Yeah.
prosecute you again.
We are gonna do it.
What's that? Is it double secret probation from
It
that
is.
movie?
It's like double secret probation he's on, and he wants to like mind his P's and Q's. But if his lawyer is in the studio,
That's right.
he can give him that special look that says "shut the heck up."
Sure.
Right?
Mhm.
All right, I'll talk to him.
All right.
Love you guys. Another one in the books. John, did you have something else?
Yeah. Well, it depends. Are we going to cover Santos? What just happened?
Eventually,
With the
yeah.
election?
The new election.
Okay,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
good Lord, man.
Yeah.
These Republicans.
Yeah.
We're going to cover it.
These things are covered in pre-show.
Mhm.
I'm just throwing it out there to you guys.
You're still doing that?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean, Kevin and I do it. It's a labor.
Labor of
Believe me.
well.
We've got it last
kind of a
night.
labor of love, but
Kevin and I sat down and ate and knocked out a show in about an hour.
Yeah.
This show, by the way. It was
but
solid.
again,
It was
Mayor
solid,
Tiffany
too.
helps.
Yeah.
So.
Mayor Tiffany. A great assist.
Before we forget.
She's like Karl Malone in that regard.
Don't forget that nice-looking nice-looking infant gentleman behind you, Mayor.
Yeah.
219 also known as Cowboy Tom. Please go to 219 if you're in the region. Civic Center.
Saturday,
6 o'clock till whenever.
I'm staying out late.
8:30. Ooh.
Nice.
So in other words, right past the piñata.
Yeah. As soon as piñata's over,
you're out.
But I go to bed early, so
that's true. So come out to 219day.com. Oh yeah, 219day.com to get this swag and other things. Yeah. Check it out.
I went to bed at 9:30 p.m. last night.
Look at you.
9:30.
Crazy.
That's 10:30 Boyne time.
Yeah.
See.
9:30 local time.
Me too.
Nice. See. That's why you and I look so cheery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look like Kevin, who's all grumpy and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I stayed up
I'm not
late.
in bed at 9 o'clock watching Hogan's Heroes. I did something wrong.
Dude, Marissa went
Colonel
to bed the other
Klink.
day at 8:30.
Whoa, that is early.
it was 9:30 in Boyne. I'm like, babe, it's like 8:30 back home, right?
Yeah.
If it was summertime, it would still be light out.
That's when Marissa should be
On
happy
Valentine's
she's
Day,
not
she went to bed
practicing law.
early.
Yeah, well, it was a busy Valentine's
I had a
Day.
brief, too.
We skied. We did 10,000 feet on Valentine's
Look
Day.
at you.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Thanks for listening. Season 11, episode 12 is in the books, and John has multiple runnings for the show title. Thanks for listening to LockPod. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, all that stuff.
Go to 219day.
Go to 219day on Saturday. I will see you next week. Season 11, episode 12 is in the books, and LockPod is out. Thank you.